The new Ofsted inspection framework. Everything you need to know. A big change has landed in the early years world. The new Ofsted inspection framework. If you run a nursery or work in one, these updates affect how you'll be inspected, what you'll be judged on, and how your performance will be shared with parents. The framework has introduced a brand new grading system, a detailed report card, and a stronger focus on safeguarding, inclusion, and children's learning experiences. So in this video, I'm going to guide you through exactly what's changed, how the inspection process works, and what you can do to stay ahead. Because if you know what's coming, you can prepare confidently and make sure these changes work in your favor, not against you. And by the end of this video, you'll understand the new 5-point grading scale, what areas Ofsted will now evaluate in your setting, how the new inspection reports look, and what nursery owners and practitioners can do right now to stay compliant and confident. But before we get into all of that, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel Open Nursery with myself, Kurt Liania, where I help people to open, run and grow successful nurseries, and where I support practitioners to deliver exceptional early years practice. So whether you're a nursery owner, manager or practitioner on the floor, this video will help keep you in the know so that when inspectors walk through your door, nothing catches you off guard. So what exactly has changed in the inspection framework, and why does it matter to you? Before, every nursery received an overall judgment, whether that be outstanding, good, requires improvement or inadequate. That one label summed up everything. The problem was, it didn't always give parents or providers a clear picture of what was actually happening inside the nursery. You could have brilliant practice in some areas and weaknesses in others, but the headline grade didn't show that. Now that's gone. Under the new inspection framework, Ofsted no longer issues one overall grade. Instead, every setting receives a multi-area report card breaking down performance of a provision. This new 5-point grading scale gives a much detailed view. So there's exceptional. This is exemplary practice with clear, sustained impact on children's outcomes. Strong standard, where you're consistently above the expected level with real strengths in practice. Expected standard, where you have a secure baseline which meets all statutory and professional expectations. There's needs attention, where there's inconsistencies or emerging weaknesses that require improvement. And then urgent improvement, where there's serious shortfalls that must be addressed immediately. Each inspection area, from curriculum to behaviour to leadership, is judged against the same scale. So rather than one headline like good, you'll see a full performance profile that highlights where your nursery shines and where development is needed. Safeguarding has now also been separated from the grading system altogether. It's now reported as a simple outcome, either met or not met. This change puts child safety right at the forefront. If safeguarding isn't met, it overrides everything else, no matter how strong the rest of your practice is. And how do inspectors gather evidence for all of this? They'll use toolkits and operating guides specific to early years. These documents standardize what inspectors look for, the type of evidence they collect, and how they assess consistency across settings. In practice, that should mean inspections will be more transparent, less dependent on personal interpretation, and more focused on real experiences of children and staff. These changes are now fully in place, so every inspection from this point forward uses the new framework and grading system. How this will look in practice is still unsure, but if your setting is due an inspection soon, expect the updated process with individual grades for each area, a separate safeguarding judgment, and a detailed report card replacing the old single rating. So if you haven't yet familiarized yourself with the new framework, now's the time to do it, because inspectors are already using it. Now that we've covered the structure of the new grading system, let's briefly talk about what those grades actually look like in real settings, because understanding where you sit on that scale helps you to focus your improvement work. If your provision is at the expected standard, it means you're doing exactly what's required. Children are safe, learning is effective, and staff meet all statutory requirements. This is a solid, secure level, nothing to worry about. If your strong standard means you're going beyond compliance, you're showing depth in curriculum planning, consistent quality in teaching, and strong outcomes across ages, then there's exceptional, the new top level. This is reserved for sector leading practice, nurseries that innovate, share expertise, and consistently demonstrate exceptional impact on children's learning and well-being. On the other end, needs attention, flags areas of inconsistency that needs improvement, while urgent improvement signals serious gaps that could compromise quality or safety. So think of it less like a pass or fail and more like a progress scale that shows exactly where you can strengthen your practice. Now let's look at the key evaluation areas that your nursery will be inspected against. These form the backbone of the new framework. Safeguarding. This is judged separately as met or not met. Inspectors look for confident staff who know how to recognise and report concerns, strong, safe recruitment processes, and clear evidence that children feel safe. Inclusion. How well you identified and meet the needs of all children, including those with SEND, EAL, or additional vulnerabilities. Inspectors want to see that every child has access to learning and that barriers are removed. Curriculum training. How your curriculum is designed, implemented, and evaluated. They want to hear staff explain the intent behind activities, how they extend learning through play, and how assessment informs planning. Achievement. What progress children make over time. This isn't about piles of paperwork. It's about practitioners knowing their children and being able to talk about their development confidently. Behaviour, attitudes, and establishing routines. Inspectors look for calm, consistent expectations, co-regulation, and a nurturing approach to behaviour. They want to see how staff help children understand boundaries and routines positively. Children's welfare and well-being. This focuses on emotional security, attachment, and relationships. Inspectors observe whether children are happy, confident, and supported by warm, responsive adults. And finally, leadership and governance. How well leaders drive quality, support staff development, and maintain oversight of safeguarding, inclusion, and continuous improvement. Documentation matters, but so does your ability to talk confidently about your vision and impact. Together, these 7 areas form a complete picture of your setting, and each will have its own single grade on the report card. So what will inspections actually look like under this new framework? Expect a more evidence-based area by area approach. Rather than giving one overall impression, inspectors now collect structured evidence for each evaluation area using Ofsted's Early Years Toolkit and Operating Guide. This means they'll spend more time observing daily practice, talking to staff, and exploring the rationale behind what you do. You might see more deep dives into inclusion, curriculum intent, and implementation, and how well-being and routines are embedded. You'll also notice a greater emphasis on staff voice. Inspectors want to hear how practitioners describe their curriculum, how they support communication and language, and how they adapt learning for different abilities. For leaders, expect a conversation about how you monitor quality, train staff, and keep safeguarding at the centre of everything. In short, inspections are now less about a snapshot and more about a 360-degree view of how your setting works day to day. After the inspection, you'll receive a new style report card instead of the old one-page judgment. Each evaluation area will have its own 5-point grade. So for example, strong standard for curriculum, exceptional for welfare, and expected standard for leadership. The report will highlight your setting's strengths and priorities for development, so you know exactly where to focus. Parents will get a clearer, more balanced picture of quality, and providers will get practical guidance instead of a single label. It's designed to celebrate what's working and give you a roadmap for what's next, turning inspection feedback into a real tool for improvement. So let's look at what nursery owners and managers can do right now to prepare for inspections under the new framework. With regards to safeguarding, make sure every staff member's training is up to date and that your designated safeguarding lead can show clear evidence of their ongoing training. Your safer recruitment files should be complete with DBS checks and references ready to show. You need to be inspection ready at all times to clearly demonstrate a safeguarding culture that meets the MET standard. With inclusion, be confident in how additional needs are identified, have clear send pathways, and show that provision is adapted rather than separate. Inspectors want to see how inclusion runs through everything that you do. With curriculum and teaching, every member of staff should be able to articulate your intent, how you implement it, and the impact on children's learning. You should be able to show logical sequencing and explain how assessments inform everyday play. With achievement, keep it simple. Know your children. Inspectors aren't looking for piles of paperwork. They want to see real progress and how staff understand each child's journey. With behaviour and routines, evidence, calm and consistent expectations and co-regulation. Staff should model kindness and positive responses rather than control or confrontation. For well-being, show that children have a voice, that key person relationships are strong, and that your environment supports emotional security. And finally, leadership and governance. Have your quality assurance cycle visible, supervision records, continuous professional development plans, and how you respond to feedback or complaints. Inspectors will expect leaders to know their strengths and areas for development and be able to talk about them confidently. The inspection toolkits and operating guides emphasize all of these, so having evidence and examples will help you show the full picture of your quality. For practitioners, here's a quick checklist that you should be thinking about. Interaction and language. Use open-ended questions and give children time to respond and show genuine curiosity. Sustained shared thinking is what inspectors love to see. Also, think about inclusion in action. Make sure adaptations are visible. That might mean visual cues, small group activities, or tailored support for quieter or less confident children. And be ready to explain what you're doing and why. Link it back to the children's next steps. Inspectors should hear your curriculum in action, not just see it on paper. And keep things calm, predictable and consistent. Co-regulate with children rather than command them, and talk children through what's happening and why. And finally, know what to do if you have a concern, who you'd speak to, how you'd record it, and what your policy says. You don't need to quote the policy word for word, but you do need to show a clear understanding of it. If you want a deeper dive into safeguarding, do check out my safeguarding video. These inspection forms are now live. Every new earliest inspection follows this updated framework and report card system. The old single grades have been phased out, so when you receive your next inspection outcome, it will be under this structure with a 5-point scale and detailed feedback across all areas. But to quickly answer some questions that have been asked are: will your old grades still be shown? Yes, all your reports remain online as historic records, but all the inspections use the new report card format. What happens if safeguarding is not met? That triggers an immediate follow-up from Ofsted. You receive urgent actions and a re-inspection. Safeguarding must always be met for your provision to remain registered. Is this the same for childminders? Registered childminders are inspected under the same framework, but evidence is scaled to the size of the setting. The same standards apply, just proportionate to your context. So that's your guide to the new inspection framework and how nurseries are being graded now. If you want to feel confident and prepared for your inspection day, make sure you watch my other videos, what else to look for during observations, and the key person role in child development. They'll give you practical examples inspectors love to see. And if you're open nursery or want structured support, my full course, which you can see on the screen now, walks you through everything from compliance and Ofsted preparation to building a sustainable business that thrives. So wherever you head off to next, I want to thank you for watching, and remember, staying informed is the best way to stay exceptional. God bless.